Alright, welcome back. This is week 5. We have a batch out of step 1 out of the rotary tumbler, the LotO 12-pounder, and we are checking out how they are. There's some beautiful rocks in here. That one's not quite ready. Liam is not with me. He complained that he wasn't in the last couple of videos, but then he didn't want to come downstairs to help me out, so he is not with me today. So I guess we're going to have to call this a guess assist, not really his batch, but that's okay. He's more interested in when we get done, which we now have 2 batches that are done out of the LotO, and actually today I have the 3rd batch moving from step 2 to step 3. So I found this one today in this batch. Okay, I don't know if it'll focus this close, but this piece has what looks to be quartz on top of it. I've never seen that in Tiger Eye before. It's not ready to go on to step 2. I'm kind of hoping that stays there though. That's kind of pretty cool. Pretty interesting anyway. I had a fair amount. I had a fair amount of rocks last time that were ready. Here's one I think is probably ready. This one's pretty nice. And so I will keep that one back. I'll grab a container, get some water in it, because LotO is still going, it's going to step 3, so it's going to be 6 days from now when it is ready. So there we go. So I have to go through all these rocks. The ones that still have cracks or pits or anything like that, they go back into the rotary for another week of step 1. If they feel really pretty smooth and ready to go, they move on to step 2 in the LotO Vibratory. Here's another piece that's really neat. I must have had a decent sized piece of this stuff this time. It's got gold, blue, and red in it. From what I understood, the red Tiger Eye is usually heat-treated gold Tiger Eye that turns it red, but that it does occur naturally in nature. So that's what I must have here, is a piece that actually has gold, blue, and red in it. There may be somebody that understands this better than me, and maybe I am misunderstanding. If I am, please correct me in the comments. But in any case, whatever it is, it's really neat looking, and I like it, and I think Liam's going to like it. So that's a good thing. Alright, I doubt anybody wants to watch me go through 15 minutes of this, but this is the process. I went outside, I cleaned them off in this colander, and then I go through, and usually I do it more with my hands than with my eyes. I just literally rub them with my thumb and my finger, and like this one, there's a rough spot right here. So it's going back in for another week, and you know, as I check them, if I don't feel anything, this one's got a rough spot on it, so it's going back in for another week, and you just keep going like that. Anything I feel's ready, I put it in another container. I keep it in water. I've been told that you are supposed to keep the rocks wet once you start tumbling them. So basically they will stay in water until they are done. So I doubt anybody really wants to watch me do 15 minutes of this, so I'm going to probably cut the video here. I'll bring it back when I'm switching the other rocks from the step 2 to step 3 in the LotO, and I will probably do like a close-up run over of all the rocks we have done so far. And there's some really pretty nice ones in there. Liam will probably criticize me, but overall I think they're a beautiful batch so far. Alright, so I'll be back in just a little bit with the LotO. Okay, I'm back. We have the step 1 stuff cleaned off, and here are the results from that. This is about how many I took out. These are the ones that are ready, I feel are ready to go on to step 2. That's not actually probably as many as I had last week, and that might explain it, because last week I took a fair amount out, and then I had to add a whole lot new rough. So there's a lot of rocks in there. This is their first week of being in there. I'm probably going to have to wait until tomorrow to start that back up, because if I move this out of the way, you could probably see in the back corner there. It's probably hard from the camera angle there, but I'm probably only a little over half full, and I don't have any rough ready to go in. What I'm working with came like this. Oops, my light's going bad. So you can, I've got to cut it. I'm not really gonna get into how I've been doing that. I don't have a proper tile saw or proper rock saw or a tile saw, but suffice to say that when you're cutting rocks, you do not want to breathe the dust you make. And I really don't care what kind of rock it is, you don't want to breathe that stuff. And I'm taking great precautions to keep myself from breathing this stuff. But I'm probably going to do it tomorrow, because what I do is loud, and just having a little pity for my neighbors. It's almost 8 o'clock in the evening, it's almost dark outside, so I'll probably go out tomorrow, cut a little bit more rough, and fill the barrel back up and get it started again. So in the meanwhile, we've got the LotO stuff. I'm going to stop the video a second, put a new battery in the light so it doesn't keep blinking on me, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, I'm back. Now the LotO works a little different than the step 1, because these rocks shouldn't have any rough spots on them. So essentially all I'm doing here is just making sure I've gotten all the grit off of them, because they're going from step 2, which is 122/20 grit, to step 3, which is pre-polish, and probably I think that's like a 500-600 grit. The number works like sandpaper. The lower the number, the rougher the grit, so the more abrasive it is. And the idea here is we're polishing these rocks, so as we get to higher numbers, they'll get more and more shiny. This is a really nice one. I kind of like this one. Just for the educational purpose of it, I'm going to show something. I'm going to dry this off. Now here's the thing. Right now when they're wet, these look shiny. But right now, if you dry it off, I got to dry my hand off or I'm going to get the rock wet again. When you dry it off, it's not really shiny. Now, in the LotO, what I've seen is probably in 3 days, when I come out of step 3, this will actually be shiny. But then another 3 days with real polish will make it even more shiny. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just checking the rocks out, making sure that I've gotten all the 122/20 grit off of them, and then I'm popping them into the LotO. I have a canning funnel on it to help get stuff in. That's really not much for the rocks. You know, I don't need it really for the rocks. But when I start putting the ceramic media back in, this thing comes in really handy. Okay, so that's where we are right now. This series is probably starting to seem a little bit like the movie Groundhog's Day, because these videos are probably very repetitive, but doing it for my little guy, and I'm going to probably continue this series and continue updating it until we finished all the rock that I bought for this, which I think I want to say I bought maybe 40 pounds of Tiger Eye. Part of this was my idea too, that I had to this point never done a species tumble where every rock in the tumbler was the same kind of rock. And I wanted to do that, and so now I'm doing it. This is all Tiger Eye. And my wife just got home. And just as a heads up, I found a rock that's got a rough spot on it, so it's going to go right back into step 1, and then when it's ready, it'll go back into step 2 again. Alright, I will probably do a quick video of the rocks we finished. We have 2 batches out of the LotO that are done, so they are pretty much done at this point, and I'll see you then. Okay, I'm back. I thought you guys might want to see the LotO when it starts back up. I kind of love that. Okay, my recipe is 2 tablespoons of borax and 1/2 teaspoon of pre-polish. So the nice thing about this is the grit you buy goes a long way with a vibratory tumbler. Now, I have a question for you guys. Anybody that has a LotO or anything like it. By the way, my recipe comes from Rob at Michigan Rocks, giving him credit where credit is due. Now, I'm telling you, if you're trying to learn this, if you're trying to learn how to tumble and what to do and all that, watch his videos. No offense to me, but this guy, he's got it down. And he has a video he put up probably about a month ago that is just fantastic. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I sat there for 45 minutes and watched it and felt like I learned a good bit. But anyway, he also does a thing where he uses some rubber bands hooked together to hold the lid on this thing, because it will vibrate right off, and then your water will evaporate out and the slurry will get too thick, your rocks will stick to the bottom and they won't tumble right. Well, I just got the LotO, I want to say in May or early June. I've been running it pretty much constantly. Here's my rubber bands. Okay, I don't know what it is, maybe it's the vibration or something like that, but they have like degraded and they just keep breaking. So I had to go upstairs and get 4 new rubber bands to make another tie up to hold the lid on this thing. So anybody that knows, you know, I've never experienced this before. Do rubber bands degrade from vibration? You know, I don't know what else it could be. I thought maybe the sun from the window got them, but both sides degraded, and you know, one side would be in shade because the window's to the right of this. But basically, I made another one, and we'll see how well it holds up. But you put the lid on, and there's a little knob that sticks off the bottom of the barrel. So I'll put that on there, and I'll put it around the knob. I might have to go upstairs and get another rubber band. That's probably tighter than what I really wanted. But evidently in a couple of days it's going to degrade anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to move over to the rocks that are finished, give you a look at those, and then we'll call this a video. Okay, I'm going to hand hold this, so I apologize if I make anybody seasick. I'm going to try to stay far enough away that you can get we can get a good focus. And the bad thing is I never know if I accomplish this until I get upstairs and look at it on the computer. So here we go, looking at some of these. I really think we got some spectacular rocks here. For anybody curious, I bought them at Kingsley North. They weren't cheap. I'm not going to say they were, but I don't have this kind of rock around here. I have done some locally collected stuff. I live in eastern Ohio, basically right on the Ohio River. I could walk to the river in about 10 minutes. Okay, so I have done locally collected like quartz gravel on the riverbank, and we have flint here. I really don't know of anything else around here that actually tumbles well. But both of those, the flint and the quartz stuff that I get at the river, are really not bad. I hope that these are a little lighter in the video than they are here. This was a really nice one. Trying to get a look at it from different angles. With Tiger Eye, that's the whole key, is when you see it from a different angle, it kind of changes the way the light goes through it or reflects off of it. And that's called chatoyance. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but basically it's a really neat property. Tiger Eye has it, and a couple other rocks have it. So right now, this is what we've got. That is the second batch. Everything to the left over here, that's the first batch that came out of the LotO. And we've got a third batch that's running right now. It'll be done in 6 days. And there's going to be several more. I've still got a good amount of rock that I need to cut up, and we've got a fair amount still left in the rotary. All right, so thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.